Long ago, in the land of Canaan, lived a man named Jacob. He had 12 sons, but one of them was very special to him. That son was Joseph. Joseph was kind, hard-working, and deeply loved by his father. To show his love, Jacob gave Joseph a beautiful robe made of many colors. But Joseph's brothers watched from a distance. The bright robe reminded them every day that their father loved Joseph more than them. Slowly, jealousy began to grow in their hearts. One morning, Joseph came to his brothers with excitement. He had a dream. In the dream, Joseph and his brothers were tying bundles of grain in the field. Suddenly, Joseph's bundle stood upright, while the bundles of his brothers bowed down before it. Another night, Joseph had another dream. He saw the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowing down before him.
When Joseph told his brothers these dreams, their jealousy turned into anger. They asked, "Do you really think you will rule over us?" From that day on, they hated Joseph even more. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers, who were tending sheep far away. When the brothers saw Joseph coming in the distance, his colorful robe shining in the sunlight, anger filled their hearts. They whispered to each other, "Here comes the dreamer." They decided to get rid of him. Some of them wanted to kill him, but one brother convinced them not to shed blood.
Instead, they threw Joseph into a deep, empty pit. Joseph cried out for help, but his brothers ignored him. Later, a caravan of traders passed by on their way to Egypt. The brothers pulled Joseph out of the pit and sold him for silver. Joseph was taken away as a slave to a foreign land. After selling Joseph, the brothers took his beautiful robe and dipped it in the blood of a goat. They brought it to their father Jacob. When Jacob saw the robe, he cried out in deep sorrow. He believed a wild animal had killed his beloved son. Jacob wept for many days. But the truth was far away in Egypt. Joseph was brought to the powerful land of Egypt, where he was sold to an important Egyptian officer named Potiphar. Even as a slave, Joseph worked faithfully and honestly. Everything he did prospered. Soon, Potiphar noticed this and trusted Joseph so much that he placed him in charge of his entire household. But trouble was coming. Potiphar's wife began to notice Joseph. Day after day, she tried to tempt him. But Joseph refused. He would not betray his master, and he would not sin against God. One day, when no one else was around, she grabbed Joseph's robe and tried again to seduce him. Joseph immediately ran away, leaving his robe behind. Angry and embarrassed, Potiphar's wife shouted for help and lied, accusing Joseph of trying to attack her. When Potiphar heard the accusation, he became furious, and Joseph was thrown into prison. Joseph had done nothing wrong, yet he was now sitting in a dark prison cell. But even in prison, Joseph did not lose faith. God was still with him. Soon, the prison guard noticed Joseph's wisdom and honesty, and Joseph was placed in charge of the other prisoners. One day, 2 of Pharaoh's servants were imprisoned. They both had mysterious dreams that troubled them. Joseph listened carefully and explained the meanings of their dreams. Just as Joseph said, the dreams came true, but the servant who was freed forgot about Joseph, and Joseph remained in prison. 2 years later, the ruler of Egypt, Pharaoh, had dreams that terrified him. In one dream, 7 healthy cows were suddenly eaten by 7 thin, starving cows. In another dream, 7 full ears of grain were swallowed by 7 dry and withered ones. No one in Egypt could explain these dreams. Then the servant who had once been in prison remembered Joseph and told Pharaoh about him. Joseph was quickly brought before Pharaoh. Joseph listened carefully to Pharaoh's dreams and said they were a message from God. He explained that Egypt would experience 7 years of great abundance, followed by 7 years of terrible famine. Joseph advised Pharaoh to store food during the good years to prepare for the famine. Pharaoh was amazed by Joseph's wisdom. That very day, Pharaoh placed Joseph in charge of the entire land of Egypt. Joseph, once a slave and prisoner, became the ruler of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. During the 7 years of abundance, Joseph stored grain in great storehouses across the land. Then the famine came. Food disappeared everywhere except in Egypt. Far away in Canaan, Joseph's brothers were starving. They traveled to Egypt to buy food. When they arrived, they bowed before the powerful governor of the land, not realizing it was Joseph. At that moment, Joseph remembered his dreams from long ago. The dreams had come true. After testing their hearts, Joseph finally revealed the truth. "I am Joseph, the brother you sold into slavery." His brothers were terrified. But Joseph spoke gently and forgave them. "You meant evil against me, but God used it for good," he said. "God sent me here to save many lives." Joseph welcomed his brothers to live safely in Egypt, and their father Jacob was brought there as well. After many years of sorrow, the family was finally reunited. Joseph's story shows that even in the darkest moments, God can turn pain into purpose, and what was meant for harm can become a blessing that saves many lives.